A very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America in Washington. This is Live Talk. I am Kip Stube.
And I'm Marvelous Mhlanga-Nyahuya this Monday, October the 18th, 2021, broadcasting from my home in Washington, D.C. due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about COVID-19, a visit by a United Nations envoy to Zimbabwe, and the death of former U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell.
But first, let's take a look at COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Health reports that one person succumbed to COVID-19 in Zimbabwe yesterday, and 36 tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. And to date, since March last year, COVID-19 has killed 4,658 people in the country.
More than 3.2 million people have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and at least 2.5 million their second dose in Zimbabwe.
Almost 126,000 people have recovered from COVID-19 out of 132,368 who contracted the disease since March last year when the pandemic started.
In other news, a United Nations Special Envoy, Alena Dohan, who is currently visiting Zimbabwe to assess the impact of targeted sanctions imposed on ZANU PF officials, held a first meeting in Harare today with President Emmerson Mnangagwa amid an appeal by the government for the scrapping of the restrictive measures.
Doha, a UN Special Rapporteur on negative impact of unilateral cohesive measures on human rights and professor of international law, is also expected to hold a series of meetings with leaders of the opposition, parties, churches, non-governmental organizations, and other stakeholders in the country.
In a tweet today, President Emmerson Mnangagwa said, quote, "It was a pleasure to welcome Alena Dohan, Special Rapporteur for Human Rights, to Zimbabwe. Her 10-day trip aims to assess the impact of punitive economic sanctions on ordinary Zimbabweans. These sanctions are illegal and hurt the most vulnerable in our society," end quote.
And in very sad news here in the United States, General Colin Powell, the first Black U.S. Secretary of State and a former chairman of the military's Joint Chiefs of Staff, died Monday from complications of COVID-19. He was 84.
According to the Associated Press, his family announced his death on Facebook on a Facebook posting saying, quote, "We have lost a remarkable and loving husband, father, grandfather, and a great American," end quote.
The family said that Powell was fully vaccinated against the virus and thanked the medical staff at the Walter Reed National Medical Center outside of Washington for their caring treatment during his final days.
Powell was the country's top diplomat from 2001 to 2005 during the first term of Republican President George W. Bush.
Earlier, Powell was a 4-star Army general and a 35-year veteran, was the Pentagon's military leader chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff from 1989 to 1983 under Bush's father, President George H.W. Bush Sr.
Yebo kambe mahlabezulu linjani lapha likhona endaweni zonke zomhlaba esijiyeneyo. Namhla-ke sixoxa ngokunye-ke okujiyeneyo khonapha ku-LiveTalk. Okokuqala siyakhangela-ke i-COVID-19 bese kubuya-ke ukubhubha kuka-Colin Powell. Ngu-retired general sibili umuntu owaziwa kakhulu kwele Zimbabwe. Lemhlabeni wonke jikelele. Uzobuya-ke siyakhuluma futhi nje ngakho luhambo lolu luka-Special United Nations Special Envoy Zimbabwe. Sizezwa ukuthi-ke yena-ke uletheni lokho esikubonayo. So sibona ngazani kulo muntu osengene khonapha kuhlelo sathi ukuthi simvalise kancane sizwe ukuthi ungahamba njani. So-ke khonokho engikutsho ukuthi siyakhuluma ngokuningi okujiyeneyo. Siyabona ukuthi-ke nxa sikhuluma nge-COVID-19 kulo muntu oyedwa obulewe yi-COVID izolo, kodwa abayi-36 bahlolwe batholakala belomkhuhlane lo. Lokhu-ke kwethulwa luhlangothi lwezempilakahle kwele Zimbabwe. Siyabona ukuthi-ke i-COVID-19 isibulele abantu abayi-4,658 kwele Zimbabwe kusukela ngoMbimbithi wonyaka yenye. So labantu-ke abayedlula 3.2 million asebehlatshwe kwakuqala ijekiseni yokuzivikela kumkhuhlane we-COVID-19 kuthi abayi 2.5 million abantu asebehlatshwe okwesibili. So siyabona njalo ukuthi nxa sikhuluma ngokunye okwenzakala eZimbabwe njengoba ngitshilo ekuqaleni kulesethekeli esivela ku-United Nations okuthiwa ngu-Elena Dohan ukwele Zimbabwe khona ukuthi akhangele ukuthi izijezo zenotho zenza njani emnothweni welizwe, njalo wenze umhlangano namhlanje lomongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa othi-ke azesulwe izijezo lezi. Sibone njalo okunye sikhangela khona ukubhubha kwa-General Colin Powell oba ngokuqala umuntu onsundu ukuthi abambe uhlangothi olwemelika lukahulumende olubona ngokudlelana lamanye amazwe. Imuli yakhe ithi ubhubhe lamhla e-Walter Reed Medical Center kungani-ke uthethwe umkhuhlane we-COVID-19 ngokutsho kwemuli. UColin Powell kade seleminyaka eyi-84. Konke lokhu-ke kubikwa yi-Associated Press. So-ke siyabona ukuthi wasebenza kakhulu ephansi kukahulumende kaGeorge W. Bush njalo loyise umongameli George H.W. Bush. So singathi wasebenza kakhulu nxa sikhangele. Marvelous, kunjalo-ke imbali kaPowell lokunye esikwenza-ke namhlanje.
Pana pachirongwa chedu nemusi wemuvhuro October 18, 2021 uko tiri kutefenyera tiri kumba pamusoro pedenda rechirwere cheCovid-19. Nhasi pachirongwa chedu tichange tiine nyaya dzakasiyana-siyana. Hatikanganwe kuramba tichitaura nezvedenda reCovid-19 uyezve tichange tiri kukupai mamiriro akaita zvinhu sekutaurwa kuri kuitwa iko nebazi rezveutano rinozivisa iro kuti kubva nezuro 17 October nyika yeZimbabwe pari zvino ine vanhu kubva muna March gore rapfuura vanosvika ivo 132,368 vakabatwa nedenda iri reCovid-19 kubva denda iri ratanga muna March gore rapfuura. Kozoyawo vanhu 126,308 vawanikwa ivo vachikwanisa kurwisa denda irori. Tozotarisa vashaya kubva kudenda iri vasvika ivo pa 4,658 kubva denda iri ratanga muna March. Uyezve pari zvino Zimbabwe inoti yakabaya vanhu vanosvika 3.2 million yatingati COVID-19 vaccine kana kuti nhomba yeCovid-19. Saka tichange tiri kutarisa izvozvi uyezve tine nyanzvi dziri pano dzatichange tiri kukurukura nadzo. Tichitarisa isu kuti muzuva ranhasi imo muno muAmerica tatambira nhau dzekuti General Collin Powell vaiva ivo nhengo yehurumende yavaGeorge W. Bush munguva yapfuura vari Secretary of States kana kuti vanoona nezvekudyidzana kwedzimwe nyika vatisiya nhasi vaine makore 84 uyezve mhuri yavo yataura kuti vawanikwa ivo vachishaya kubva kumacomplications avataura kuti ndeye COVID-19. Kunyange zvazvo vaColin Powell vakawanikwa ivo vachibayiwa nhomba dzavo dzese. Saka tichange tiri kukurukura izvozvo zvekushaya kwavaColin Powell uyezve tichitarisa zvakare zviri kuitika munyika yeZimbabwe uko kuine nhumwa iri kubva iyo kuUnited Nations, nhumwa iri kuuya kuzotarisa pamusoro penyaya yezvirango zvakatemerwa nyika yeZimbabwe. Saka taona nhasi isu padandemutande reTwitter President Emmerson Mnangagwa vachitaura ivo kuti vari kufara nekusvika uyezve nenhaurwa dzavaita naAlana Dohan anova ivo nhumwa munyarikani ari kubva kuUnited Nations kuti ivo vari kufara nehurukuro yavaita muzuva ranhasi pamusoro pemaipiro akaita zvirango zvakatemerwa nyika vachiti ivo zvirango izvi zvinokanganisa upfumi hwenyika nemunhuwo zvake munhu munyika imomo. Saka ndo zvimwe zvatichange tiri kukurukura pamusoro pezvazvo uyezve tichinzwa kubva kune nyanzvi dzakasiyana-siyana pamusoro pemaonero avo zviri kuitika munyika panyaya yeCovid-19. Tozotarisa zvakare panyaya yekushanya kwemunyarikani uyu weUnited Nations. Tozotarisa panyaya yekushaya kwavaColin Powell tichiona kuti vaPowell mumwe weavo apo vakange vari pabasa vakashora hurumende yeZimbabwe mushure mekunge vataura ivo vachitaura nevatori venhau yemuno vakateta kunyora vachiti utongi huri muZimbabwe hausi hwejechetere panguva yava Mugabe uyezve vachishora ivo kudzvinyirirwa kwanga kuri kuitwa vana veZimbabwe. Saka tichange tiri kuenderera mberi tichitarisa kuti izvi zvinorevei mushure mekushaya kwavo, vari kubatwa sei ane vanhu vevimo muno muamerica uyezve nepasi rose.
Yes, marvelous. We still remember that Colin Powell actually wrote an op-ed, in the New York Times, and he was actually saying there's need for the government to be tamed in Zimbabwe, and he was calling for some constitutional changes so that there could be a new leader who could take over. So in one of the lines he wrote, I quote, "With the president gone, with the transitional government in place, and with a date fixed for new elections, Zimbabweans of all descriptions would, I believe, come together to begin the process of rebuilding the country or their country," end quote. So he is a man that is even known in Zimbabwe and beyond. So let's start with Mr. Dan Moyo, who is, in the MTC formation. You can tell us a bit about Colin Powell, because he was here when Colin Powell was the Secretary of State and all those things. Welcome to the program, Mr. Moyo.
Thank you, Mr. Dube, and thank you, Marvelous. My recollection of Colin Powell is that he had this larger than life presence in the political environment here in the US. As you stated, Gibbs, he served under George H. Bush, who was the father of George W. Bush. And then George W. Bush is the one who actually appointed him to be the Secretary of State, which was, and he became the first black person to hold that position. It had never been held by a black person before. And the other interesting thing about Colin Powell that I recall is that in 2008, he actually endorsed Barack Obama, even though he was a Republican. And over the Republican candidate for that election, I believe that was John McCain. So that was very interesting. So Colin Powell is one of those people you can look at and consider to be a moderate Republican who doesn't subscribe to extreme Republican policies that we see espoused by Donald Trump and his followers. He is more of a middle line kind of Republican. But yeah, and I think the other thing that Colin Powell is known for is his service in the military in the USA. He served USA very well, and he's a very renowned person, public speaker, he was well sought out by a lot of organizations to speak about policy, and he was the advisor to the president. So he had a real big, prominent role in the US politics.
Now, you still remember how the ZANU PF government reacted to Colin's op-ed in the New York Times. Do you still remember that?
Yes, I did, regarding the sanctions.
Yes, say something about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Colin Powell to me, is one of those people who used to call a spade a spade. He didn't beat about the bush. He was very direct in his op-ed, where he stated that the situation in Zimbabwe was very much untenable, and that the sanctions were there as a tool to try and bring in the country of Zimbabwe to respect human rights and to promote free and fair elections, which is something that up to today we are still struggling with in Zimbabwe.
Yes, let me just take a quote from what he wrote in the New York Times. He said, I quote, "Millions of people are desperately hungry because the country's once thriving agricultural sector collapsed last year after President Robert Mugabe confiscated commercial farms, supposedly for the benefit of poor blacks. But his cynical land reform program has chiefly benefited Ivy Party hacks and stalwarts, not landless peasants. As a result, much of Zimbabwe's most productive land is now occupied by loyalists of the ruling ZANU PF party, military officers, or their wives or friends." Did he hit it there?
Oh yeah, definitely. He hit the nail right on the head there, because that's what we've seen happen. We've seen the land reform program, which was really chaotic, ended up with individuals aligned to ZANU PF and to Robert Mugabe, ending up with multiple farms, while a lot of Zimbabweans still don't have land, still don't have access to those farms. Some of those farms are now lying derelict. They are not being used. They've become what we term white elephants, because most of the owners or so-called people who were given those farms, some of them live in the city. They are not even farmers by nature, or that's not really their line of work. To them, it's just grabbing land to derive power from it. They've become cell phone farmers, and productivity has suffered. Agriculture was the backbone of the Zimbabwe's economy, but it has suffered tremendously. Yet this whole program was supposed to benefit the black people of Zimbabwe, but instead it has not worked. It has benefited a few elite individuals.
Thank you very much. Marvelous, you can join the discussion right now.
Maybe Gibbs, if you can add Dr. Simbiso Ranga, because I wanted him to come in and comment on the cause of death, because we understand that the family actually said that he died, Mr. Powell, General Powell died from complications of COVID-19. So I wanted to hear that.
Yeah, he has joined right now, so he was cut off. So Dr. Ranga, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Go ahead, Marvelous.
Can you just give us your take on this revelation by the family that General Powell had both his vaccinations, but he actually succumbed to COVID-19 complication? What does that mean, especially for those that are still waiting to get the vaccination?
Well, Marvelous, it's very sad that we lost General Powell. We know the contributions that he has made to society. As it relates to the COVID-19, it's really it's not unexpected that people who have been vaccinated could succumb or die. But those are the minority. There are a very small number of people who are fully vaccinated and still go on to get the virus. And very few of them will eventually succumb like he did, unfortunately. A lot of times, these people who eventually die, they are immunocompromised. So their immune system is not strong enough. And that is why the encouragement or the recommendation was such that, people who are immunocompromised should get a booster. So that booster is being given right now for people who got the Pfizer vaccine, because when they got the vaccination, their immune system didn't mount enough response or what the antibodies to fight the virus whenever they come across it. So as it is, we still have so much COVID-19 in the communities across the world. So that means that everybody, the vaccinated and unvaccinated, get exposed to the virus. But if someone is vaccinated, chances of them succumbing or dying from COVID-19 are much, much lower than somebody who is not vaccinated. So it's unfortunate that General Powell is one of those who has succumbed. From what I understand, just reading from what's out there in public source, he had multiple myeloma, which is a disease that causes the immune system to be compromised. So that could have contributed to him dying from the virus.
Tombopinda murimi rwamai kuti tinoona kuti General Colin Powell vanga vari vaishanda imo muno muAmerica vakashanda pasi pava George Bush, uyezve takaona zvakare vachitaurawo pamusoro pemamiriro anga akaita zvinhu muZimbabwe munguva yapfuura pasi pava Robert Mugabe muna 2003, apo vakanyora zvinyorwa kuNew York Times vachitaura ivo kusafara kwavo kwemabatirwo nekudzvinyirwa kwanga kuri kuitwa vanhu vemuZimbabwe. Imi munoona sei mabasa akabatwa naGeneral Powell?
Pakuona kwangu, General Powell is a statesman. somebody who cared that for human beings anywhere in the world, including in Zimbabwe, kuti vange vane upenyu huri nane. Saka pavakanyora that op-ed muna 2003, it was a response to what was going on in Zimbabwe in terms of my human rights issues and also economic collapse, things like that. As we know, General Powell was Republican at one point. Then lately he had said he doesn't have a party at all. So he just cared for what was good for America. And he cared for what was good for humanity. I know there's a lot that he did in his lifetime, but I think, most people across the political divide, they view this as a huge loss because he was there to see to the betterment of all of us, including Zimbabweans.
So now, Dr. Langa, looking at a person like him, and he was the first black person to actually become the Secretary of State. So what does it mean to you as a black person to have that kind of a person occupying such a big post?
Well, what I can say is that he was a role model. We know there are a lot of black people across the world who have the skills, who have what it takes to occupy any public office, including something like Secretary of State. So General Powell is an embodiment of all those things: successful black person, highly educated, very responsible, and able to work with anybody in the political sphere, Republicans, Democrats, independents, and also to try to bring peace across the world, including in countries like Zimbabwe, where we say, we should work for the betterment of people. So as a black person, he was an excellent example. And I'm glad that he got the opportunity to demonstrate that as the Joint Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Secretary of State under President George Bush, and the other many things. He has advised a number of presidents, I'm sure. And I think that most people would, before they see that he is black, they just see that he was doing an excellent job. And that is true for so many other vocations that we see black people endeavoring in. So it's a good example. I have read a number of books that he wrote. I think the way he thought about life is much bigger than most of us would think, because most of us we tend to have a partisan attitude. In his mind, he just wanted to make things better in whatever capacity he operated in.
Thank you very much, and stay on the line. Let's go to
Sure.
Ubaba Uten Moyo. So Baba Moyo ngesintu sibili nxa sukhangele uGeneral Colin Powell. Ungathini ngaye sibi?
Yeah, I think isizwe seAmerica silahlekelwe liqhawe kuColin Powell. Ngingathi liqhawe ngandlela zonke ongakhangelisisa ngazo. Noma ukhangela ubuqhawe from military background yakhe ngoba wakhuphuka ku-military waze wafika izinga lokuba ngugeneral, ukutshengisela ukuthi kube ngumuntu oqakathekileyo ku-military e-United States. And then isabona ekhethwa nguGeorge Bush ukuthi abe ngu-Secretary of State, i-position ebingakaze iholdwe ngumuntu omsundu since i-America yabakhona. So konke lokhu kutshengisa ukuthi ungumuntu obehlonipheka, ubengumhlonishwa omkhulu kakhulu, respectwayo kakhulu, ohlonishwayo kakhulu i-political landscape. Njalo njengoba umfowethu uranga lapho besisho ukuthi uColin Powell isifiso sakhe was ukubona intuthuko yabantu, regardless ukuthi usupporta yiphi party, bandla liphi. Lokho wakubonisa sobala ngesikhathi endoza uBarack Obama ngo-2008 ekubeni yena ube ngumRepublican. So kwamangalisa abantu abaningi ukuthi awukanti umRepublican waendoza umDemocrat kwenzakalani. Kwakutshengisa ukuthi yena i-belief system yakhe yayitranscenda beyond partisanship ukuthi wabona Obama better candidate njengomuntu hayi njengomdemocrat or ngomrepublican. So I think indlela aziphathe ngayo impilo yakhe yonke leyo kubuhlungu ukuthi isizwe silahlekelwe and ebulawa yi-COVID njengoba imuli yakhe isitsho ukuthi ube lama COVID complications. Kuyadanisa kakhulu and futhi worse off ukuthi bevaccinatiwe. So I think create more confusion ebantwini abaningi ukuthi kanti laba vaccinatiwe labo lokho besifa bebulawa yi-COVID. Siyazi ukuthi lapha into ehlupha kakhulu ngoba silabantu abaningi abaresistayo ukuthi bahlatshwe bajovwe i-vaccine ye-COVID. So I think ngenye into ezokhoza ukuthi abantu abaningi hesitate futhi ukuthi bajovwe i-COVID vaccine.
Yes, kufaka ngesilungu nje ngamafutshane khona.
Yeah, basically Colin Powell's death in particular, which is attributed to complications brought by COVID-19, is a sad thing indeed. More so for the push that the government, Joe Biden's government, is currently doing to promote vaccinations and encourage people to get vaccinated. So to learn that Colin Powell died of COVID complications, even though he was vaccinated, it really puts a dent to what the government, what Joe Biden has been trying to do, encouraging people, because we know we are sitting at like 56% of the population that's vaccinated. We still need to get to above 70 to 80 to acquire herd immunity. And so there's such news where somebody as prominent as Colin Powell, who was vaccinated, dies of COVID, is going to bring hesitancy to the remaining people that have still not vaccinated, because they'll be like, well, what's the use if somebody who's vaccinated can still die of COVID, then maybe the vaccines are not as good as they are being portrayed to be. So they will have to manage that, I guess. I think Dr. Ranga mentioned there that it could have been because of other complications, because he was 84, and so such things maybe could lead to that, and they'll have to manage that so that the other people that have been vaccinated can go ahead and get vaccinated.
Thank you very much, and stay on the line, Mr. Moyo. Let's bring Mr. Ranga. Dr. Ranga, go ahead, Marvelous.
Dr. Ranga, muri kunzwa zviri kutaurwa navamoyo panyaya yekuti nyaya iyi yekuti mhuri yava General Powell vari kuti ivo vaPowell vakashaya kubva kudenda reCovid-19 kungazodzorera vamwewo vasati vabayiwa nyumba iyi imo munonyanya muno muAmerica. Munoona sei izvi?
Chandinoona Marvelous ndechekuti matarisiro ari kuita vanhu COVID-19 tiri kuitarisa kuti hai black or white anything when it comes to any issue. However, it's more complicated than that. As a physician, my encouragement to anybody out there watching is that you should get vaccinated, and you should do it yesterday. The reason for that is that you are much better protected from COVID-19 kana wakabayiwa nhomba than munhu asina kubayiwa. That is not the same thing as you can't get COVID. Of course, kana une vaccination, you are less likely to get it, which means you are less likely to die of the disease. But that's not the same thing as once you get vaccinated, you can't get COVID. But the majority of people that we are taking care of muchipatara today, 99% or so vanhu vari kuuya neCovid-19 vanhu vasina kuvaccinatwa. Saka it means the majority of people vakavaccinatwa, they are doing okay. They are staying at home. Unfortunately, we will have my cases like General Powell. A lot of them vane immune system yagara iri compromised. From my studies akaitwa, they suggested that the people ngavane immune system iri compromised when they got vaccinated the first time, the effectiveness of the vaccine was about 45%. Saka, if somebody has something like cancer, kanama, HIV/AIDS, which are immunocompromised states, it means that they are more likely to get the virus, even though they are vaccinated. And also, when they get the virus, they are likely to have bad outcomes. When my intensive care unit also even end up dying. That should actually be a motivator for every one of us to get vaccinated, because vaccination is not just for me or you, it's for my family, my neighbor, to be able to protect those people, particularly vana vasati vava access to vaccine, kozoita vechikuru, vari immunocompromised. So we do vaccination so that we minimize the spread in the community. Of course, it's going to protect me first. But when I get vaccinated, I am protecting my family, my neighbor, my friends. So when we see people like General Powell dying, it should be a rallying cry to say, hey, let all of us get vaccinated so that we don't have much of the disease in the community. If the numbers are way down, it means we are all less likely to get it, including people like General Powell who are immunocompromised. Thank you.
So now, in terms of being immunocompromised, can you explain a little bit?
Immunocompromised state just means kuti muiri for one reason or the other hauna simba rakakwana rekurwisa zvirwere kana zvauya. Sezvatinoziva, let's give an example HIV. So you can get the virus, and then the virus yoita kuti muviri unge uri weaker and weaker kune yatinoti AIDS, HIV/AIDS, yokuti muviri unenge usingachakwanise kurwisana nezvirwere pazvinouya, like iwaya ma-infections, ma-viral, ma-bacterial infection. It means that generally the body inofoma atinoti ma-antibodies kana kuti mauto okurwisa zvirwere zvakaita sana COVID-19. So vaccination, the idea ndeyekuti tigadzire mauto iwayo before we get the virus or the disease or the infection, such that patinozowana chirwere or patinosangana nechirwere, then muviri unokurumidza kuti pauya this problem, and they quickly fight. Ma-antibodies they fight. Saka when people have a compromised immune system, havana ma-antibodies akakwana ekuti varwise chirwere chakaita se-COVID-19. And that's basically how I can explain it.
Mm-hmm. So can you explain that in English and add the fact that, General Powell is not a small man. He's a very big guy. And what's the impact of his death, in Africa, in Europe, in the Americas and so forth, taking into account that he succumbed to COVID-19?
Sure. It's a huge loss to the world that General Powell is gone. As we mentioned earlier, he is a statesman who has been fighting for the betterment of humanity across the world. Unfortunately, he succumbed to COVID-19. I mean, I don't know all the facts surrounding his death, but they were related to COVID-19. And that he was fully vaccinated, which is a plus. But for him, from what I understand, his immune system was compromised or weakened because he had a condition called multiple myeloma. So that's one of the conditions which compromises the immune system. And what that does is that even when somebody gets a vaccine, the body is not able to build enough antibodies which are supposed to fight the infection like COVID-19 when you come across it. So unfortunately, for people like him who are immunocompromised, the elderly, they are likely to succumb to COVID-19 with and without the vaccine. But everybody who is vaccinated has a better fighting chance than somebody who is not vaccinated at all. Most of those who are vaccinated are doing okay, but unfortunately there will be some who are going to succumb, and we don't know who those are. And that is why it is important for each and every one, wherever we are here in Zimbabwe, in America, in Zimbabwe, everybody get vaccinated. We know enough about the vaccines to know that they are safe and that they are effective. But they won't be useful if we are not vaccinated. So we all need to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, and stay on the line. Let's bring in Mr. Den Moyo. Just stay on the line there. Babu Moyo, nxa sikhangela ke ukuthi lapha phela kubhubhe indoda enkulu kakhulu. So nxa ibhubhe bulo khonokho ke COVID-19 kutshoni kuzwekazi le-Africa, kutshoni lapha eMelika, kutshoni eSouth America, kutshoni eEurope, endaweni ezitshiyeneyo, ngoba lapha ungani kulokhona khona.
Yeah, well, obviously, laba abavele bengama anti-vaccines, esithi ngaba abangavumelani layo i-vaccination, bazothola indlela yokuthi baqinise i-argument yabo yoku-discourage abantu ukuthi bathathe i-vaccine besithi ayisebenzi ngoba njengoba sekufa umuntu owazakala umhlaba wonke jikelele engumuntu obe-vaccinatiwe. So bazokuyuza lokho. We cannot run away from the fact ukuthi bazoyuza le situation to advance i-negativity yabo against ama-vaccines. Colin Powell ngumuntu obesaziwa since ebengumuntu obengu-Secretary of State, umsebenzi wakhe by virtue of umsebenzi wakhe bekuxhumanisa i-America lamazwe wonke umhlaba. So ngumuntu obesaziwa pretty much mhlawumbe ngathi umhlaba wonke jikelele lobudlelwano le-America ngoba umuntu obviously vakatsha njalo nguye oyabe in charge of ama-embassies wonke umhlaba jikelele we-America. So uyaziwa. So inews le esikhuluma ngazo zinews ezinkulu kakhulu esezispreade umhlaba wonke, and ma kuthiwa ubulewe yi-COVID kuzo-raise ama-questions amaningi ebantwini abaningi. Sizozizwa nje indaba ziqala ukuphuma abantu sebesithi asalitshela ngokuthi ama-vaccine la nangu-ke. So kusho ukuthi ungaze uyithathe akula promise yokuthi uzosinda. But on the other hand, uDr. Ranguyasho ukuthi ma ukubhekisisa in comparison to abaningi abathethe i-vaccine but abangazange bagule yababulala, kulabantu i-correlation yakhona kulabaningi abasurvivayo because bathathile i-vaccine versus abangazange ayithathe i-vaccine at all. So i-probability yokuthi ugule ufe ma uvaccinated is much lower than umuntu obanjwe i-COVID engazange la i-defense mechanism etholakala ku-vaccine.
Yes, cela ufake ngesilungu khona kungamafutshane kube songena marvelous.
Yeah, basically the very fact that Colin Powell is this hugely known individual worldwide by virtue of him having been the Secretary of State for the United States, it means that the news is going to spread much faster, much quicker throughout the world. And the fact that he died of COVID is going to have some negative connotations. There are individuals who are anti-vaccines, people who are going to use this as an opportunity to say, as we've been telling you, these vaccines here do not give you 100% protection, and therefore they are not reliable. But we know from science and from doctors, and Dr. Ranga even mentioned this year that the probability of you dying of COVID when you're vaccinated is much lower than if you're not vaccinated, which means that this should not be used to discourage people from taking the vaccine. But we know that it is going to be used in that manner because the people that are against vaccinations, they always look out for things like this to use as examples in their fight to discourage people from taking the vaccine.
Thank you very much. Now we are joined by, still on the line, Mr. Tenmoy, we are joined by Dr. Simba Mavaza of ZANU PF. Mr. Mavaza, good evening. and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Gibbs.
Yes, today we're talking about Colin Powell. You know, what can you say about him? He's late, you know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Strictly speaking, on the American side, I think he has done a lot of things in his service for the American people and for the world at large. It's quite a loss to humanity and a loss to the political platform we have now. Powell is rather discharged his services not only for America but for the world. There's several moments he had actually assisted in a number of issues where it pertains to Zimbabwe. But yes, we cannot forget that he was quite instrumental to a number of decisions which went against Zimbabwe, especially in the formation of Zidera. He had a lot of input in it, which as Zimbabweans we could frown at it, but because of his demise, we cannot celebrate. But we actually passed our condolences to America and say, yes, in politics, he did his job very well to defend his own country, regardless of the effects on others.
Marvelous.
Aiwa, tinokuchingamidzai pachirongwa Dr. Mavaza. Motipawo pfungwa dzenyu pakushaya kwaGeneral Colin Powell muzuva ranhasi. Tiri kunzwa mhuri yavo yataura ivo kuti vawanikwa vachishaya kubva kuma-complications eCovid-19.
Yeah, ndiri kuti muchidimbu zvinosuwisa kushayikirwa nemunhu asina basa kuti ndeani, asi rufu rwemunhu wese runosuwisa. VaPowell kunyange havo vakashanda kana zvakanyanya as a diplomat, retired, he was retired then, vakaita kana vakava nezvavakaita zvikurusa pakuti Zimbabwe iwanikwe ichitemerwa zvirango. Pane zvavakawedzera kana yatingati input yavo yavakaita. But yes, he was a diplomat, he was a 4-star general. Zvinoreva kuti ivo vakaseva in America. I think he was the 65th, if I'm not forgetting, the 65th Secretary of State, kubva 2001 kusvika 2005, and he was the first American, a black American, rather, or an American African Secretary of State. Kusati kwazoyawo vana rise, and prior to that, ivo vaPowell, I think vakaratidza kana kuti ndo vakaratidza vakavhura nzira yekuti munhu mutema anogonawo kuzokwanisawo kutora basa. Pavakabva ivo kakabva kapindawo Barack Obama vachibva vagadza vainzi vaCondoleezza Rice, which means kuti yakanga yava mutserendende. Zvanga zvaanyore kuisa munhu mutema pachigaro chinokosha saizvozvi. Saka that was a very high ranking African American position in the history of the American politics. But however, as I had said, pekutanga kuti yes, vaPowell, as far as Zimbabwe is concerned, vanga vasina mashoko akati nakei pamusoro penyika yeZimbabwe, nekuti vaingofungidzira kuti Zimbabwe inodzvinyirira vanhu kana kuti haisi kubata kodzero dzevanhu zvakanaka. Asi kunyange hazvo zvakadaro, America has lost a man, a patriot, as far as America is concerned.
So in a way, in his op-ed to the New York Times, he actually said, you know, the implication was that Zimbabwe is a banana republic, you know, in that op-ed, which you still remember, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're not happy about it.
Yes, that was wrong for him to say that. In any case, Powell was making a decision on what he thinks Zimbabwe is from what he was hearing, not from what he has done himself or what he has investigated himself. Akanga ari kunyeberwa nenhunzva-tunzva dzemapato anopikisa vaingoda kuti vavanewo favor kubva kuamerica. But zvakadaro hazvo sezvanambotaura pekutanga kuti rufu rwavo harutifadze, harunakidze Zimbabwe, runongoratidza kuti munyaya dzematongerwo enyika munhu ane kodzero yekutaura zvaanofunga pamusoro pezvaanofunga nepamusoro penyika yaanofunga. Saka decision yavo yavakanyora vachiti Zimbabwe yanyika isina maturo iri kutadza kutongwa zvakanaka, ndo maonero avo. Say in a democratic world we do not condemn him for that, but we simply remember kuti havana kunyanya kutibatsira senyika yeZimbabwe, vakatikanda pasi pebhazi, asi zvisinei hazvo tinochema nemhuri yavo nekushayika kwavaita nhasi.
Tomboti Dr. Simbiso rangamombobvisa heti yenyu yeudokta mombopinda kuopposition uku. Munoona sei tichinzwawo tichionawo zvakare kuti zvechokwadi Powell vakange panguva iyoyo yavakanyora op-ed vakataura ivo kuti vanga vasiri kufara nemamiriro anga akaita zvinhu kuZimbabwe. Mombopo pfungwa remapato anopikisa.
Thank you, Marvelous. I hear what my brother there, Dr. Mawaza, is saying. It is true that around 2001, 2003, there was a lot of human rights abuse, which has been documented, by independent organizations and obviously the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance, which I work with. I took care of patients at Harare Hospital who were coming in from rural areas who had been butchered because of political violence. So when we talk about some of the restrictive measures that were put in place around that time, because that op-ed was one of the preludes, to things like Zidera. What they were saying was to Zimbabweans, hey, listen, you can disagree politically the same way I'm disagreeing with my brother, Dr. Mawaza here. There is no reason to be violently displacing people, murdering people, particularly state-sponsored violence, because those in government today, they should be there to protect everyone. ZANU PF people, MDC people, Mawambo people, independent people, people who never vote all their life. They are all Zimbabweans. So the responsibility of the government of the day is to make sure that every Zimbabwean is protected. And of course, America took a position at that time to say, how can we protect those who are vulnerable in Zimbabwe, who can't look up to their government? Because the government of the day was butchering these people for having an alternative political view. And so in my mind, Colin Powell was trying to make life better for every Zimbabwean. Of course, those who are in charge of the government would want to continue to do whatever they want with the Zimbabweans instead of the betterment of Zimbabweans. And that's what all of us as Zimbabweans are crying for. We want a better country that works for everyone, not just for a select few. And that's what General Powell was highlighting in his article. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's go to Mr. Denmoy. So, Mr. Denmoy, we know that 2003, then the sanctions were rolled in. And today, as we speak, there is a special envoy from the United Nations who's assessing the impact of the sanctions in Zimbabwe. So, briefly, ngesindebele, ubona ngani khonokho okwakukhulunywa nguPowell yikho yini okwenza ukuthi kufakwe izitezo zenotho njalo kulesethekeli se-United Nations esikwele Zimbabwe u-Elena Dohan. So ubona ngani kungahambelani konke lokhu okwakulotshwa nguPowell nakhonokho kuye kwenzakala khona manje kule Zimbabwe?
Yeah, uColin Powell like njengoba ngitshilo oqaleni ngumuntu obebiza ispade njengespade ubengakhekelezi ubeyibiza injalo and lana ube expressa umbono wakhe ngabe kubona yena kusenzakala eZimbabwe. Siyazi kubana eZimbabwe by that time ama sanctions lawa bewafaka izinto zazibucwayo eZimbabwe into kwakungelanto ehambayo and wonke umuntu ayisola igovernment kaMgabe the way etreata ngakhona abantu besiphuma kuGugurawundi lapho kwabulawa khona thousands of people from Matabeleland and Midlands. So all that record musileyo record ephalwa phansi ukuthi lo yaziwa lo ukuthi vele makubuya endabeni zama human rights ama marks akhe are very low. And izanu injalo ngoba lana akusithi qanjelwa manga izanu ukuthi hayi baphomba ukusizonda ngoba i-excuse yabo abayisebenzisayo kuthiwa ngoba sathatha umhlaba then therefore yikho abasilwisa ngakho. Mina I think akusikho and bayakwazi labo ukuthi i-record yabo as far as human rights are concerned is very poor. And Colin Powell was just merely stating a fact that's known, that we're dealing with a pariah government here that does not promote freedom for its people. There's suppression of views. You can't willingly express yourself. You couldn't actually at that time in Zimbabwe. We still see some traces of it. There was violence, political violence all the time. Opposition party members were being murdered, tortured. So it's a known fact that's documented, and for anyone to deny it is just trying to play people for fools, because this is not just something that people just dreamt up. These are things that literally happen in Zimbabwe and continue happening as late as after the 2018 elections. We saw the same thing where there were massacres, there were shootings of people in the streets. So if you want a good record internationally, those are the kind of things that you do not want. In fact, we told President Edie when we met in New York that these are the things that taint our country. And you keep blaming the sanctions. You're making this now an egg and chicken issue, where you are saying, okay, which comes first and which comes last. The bottom line is that Zimbabwe is frowned upon by many other nations in the way it handles its political endeavors. There, you find that the freedom that you would expect for people, for their votes to be protected, for an elections commission that is not viewed as biased towards the ruling party. Zimbabwe has literally become a military state, more so after the coup that we saw in 2017. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that Zimbabwe is a military state. The military is in charge. Regardless of what they will say, we know that General Chiwenga just took off his uniform, but he never took off his militarism, and the way he uses the military whenever to continue suppressing the people. So General Powell cannot be blamed at all, like what Dr. Mavaza is trying to paint him as. He was telling the truth. He was saying it as it is, because that's exactly what has been happening in Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much, Marvelous. Maybe let's bring Dr. Mavaza. Go ahead, Marvelous.
To what Dr. Chipo Dendere, who's well-renowned commentator based at Wesley University in Boston. Let's hear a female's voice on what she thinks and what the legacy of General Powell will be. So let's take a listen to what she had to say. I spoke to her earlier on, but we can go to Dr. Mavaza to just. Can you comment on what Mr. Moyo was saying before I bring on Dr. Dende?
Thank you so much. As you well know, Mr. Moyo was just singing the very tired and old song. Firstly, we need to appreciate that Colin Powell was a soldier, a four-star general. He had fought in the Vietnam. He had sat as the chairman of Joint Chief of Staff. He has directed wars. He has caused deaths of several people in different countries where America was in charge. And therefore, he was the least person to talk about blood being spilled in a more relatively peaceful country of Zimbabwe. So it was a hypocritic crocodile tears he was shedding, because his aim was not to save the people of Zimbabwe, but what was only to save the interest of the American foreign policy. Unfortunately, we have stooges like the MDC and their members who always believe that a country, a foreign nation, has to interfere in their own country, which is wrong. Actually, what my colleague, or rather, he has been saying about the Gukra wound and other things, this is a story which was discussed, and Zimbabwe had moved on from there. We had agreed, and it was the moment of madness, and those who were wrong came out and apologized, and the countries to move on. We cannot be
But
going on
Mr. Mavaza, let's be very honest here. Who apologized? I think there's a problem there.
Do you remember a man called Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe?
He said it was a moment of madness, but he's
And
the only
that
one.
was an apology.
He's the only one who said it. So let's put it that way.
And then the president, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, apologized and actually met all the chiefs in Bulawayo 2 years ago and put in a special apology, and he set up again ways of finding out how to find each other. I don't know what more apology you guys might need, but now let's move on, because the Gukura issue is something which was discussed about, and we cannot go back to it. We need to develop further. And again, I was saying here, the fact that Powell, in his report, declared Zimbabwe as a banana republic, he was not relying on what he had investigated himself. He was relying on the press reports and what has been told by the attention seekers, the MDC and the other opposition members who were there. What we are simply saying here is it's a shame for us as Zimbabweans to want to vilify our country so that we can get support from other countries. There is nothing we can praise Powell for as far as human rights and humanity is concerned. He did not look at any human rights issue. And again, if you have read Powell's book, the book he wrote after he retired, which was called "I've Made It," if you have read that book, he was not for pro-African or pro-American African. He actually had blamed the American Africans as people who were lazy, who had not
I think
worked hard to reach ways or to make it.
Dr. Mavaza.
Yes.
Hold on. I think Dr. Ranga wants to respond to some of these things that you're saying. Just hold on there. Hold on. Dr. Ranga, go ahead, Dr. Ranga.
Thank you. What I want to say is that, being the government is not the same thing as being Zimbabwean. I mean, there is a distinction there. Zimbabwe is a country for all of us, those who are in the MDC, ZANU PF, and any other political parties. I think my brother Denmoyo put it very well. General Powell was stating everything that was in the public record. And like I'm telling my brother here, Dr. Mavaza, I took care of patients who were unconscious at Harare Hospital, who had been beaten by militants sent by government people in parts of rural Zimbabwe. So when we talk these issues, this is not like, there are some crybabies out there who are inviting sanctions on Zimbabwe. We all know the truth. But what we know is that those who are in government today, who are benefiting from the corrupt system that has been created over the past 40 years, they want the same to continue because their families are okay. When they get sick, they go out of the country, including General Chiwenga, who is the Minister of Health. He will go out there to China for a sore throat. Just think of it. But he says to every other Zimbabwean, no, you can't get health care outside the country. You have to get it here. So I was just going to say, it's just a question of we are being very disingenuous when we talk about, General Powell, because he commented on how bad things were in Zimbabwe, someone was telling him to do that. No, we ordinary Zimbabweans, you and me, I care for Zimbabwean today, and I'll care for them tomorrow. But it is fair to say that the country has been run to the ground and life is more miserable since we gained independence in 1980. And one party has been in power which oversaw Gukura Undi, which oversaw the atrocities that we saw in 2018. Any human rights abuse, whether it's just one person or two, is the same. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. Moyo, your last word, just 30 seconds. We are out of time.
Yeah, I think our condolences go out to the Powell family on their loss of a father, a brother, a grandfather, and to the American people in general, for a selfless servant of the country who contributed enormously in the advancement of where we are as a nation.
Thank you very much. On that note, we end our show today. We thank Mr. Ten Moyo, who is a political activist based in Washington, D.C., Dr. Simbiso Ranga, who is a medical practitioner, and Dr. Simba Mavaza, who's based in the UK, and he is in the ZANU PF party. Signing off from Maryland, this is Gibbs Dube saying, good night, Zimbabwe.
And I'm Marvelous Mhlanganya, who is saying thank you also to Dr. Chipo Dendere, who also sent us a voice note talking about the late General Colin Powell, and also all our guests who joined us. And for you who are following us, thank you very much.
Good night.
See you tomorrow.